Now it is my honor to welcome to the stage two of the IA40 2022 winners. It should be no surprise that both of these companies were actually selected as winners in the 2021 and 2022 cohort and are respective leaders in their categories. First, you will hear from Luis Ceze, who is the CEO and co-founder of OctoML. Following, you will hear from Cristóbal Valenzuela, who is the CEO and co-founder of Runway.
Thank you, Sabrina. Okay, well, hello again. So it's really an honor to be on the list twice. Thank you for having me here. I also hope that PitchBook predicts that we have a pretty good chance of success, right? So our investors will like that. So let me tell you what OctoML does. So OctoML automates ML deployments. All of these intelligent applications have machine learning models in them. And so in case you're wondering, what intelligent applications are, it's really hard to define. But I can say one thing, that nobody wants dumb applications, So, there are, a lot of models and machine learning models everywhere. And if you look at this is a snapshot from Hugging Face just a few weeks ago, just under 82,000 models. And there are more and more, like this changes every day by the hundreds, okay? And now with generative models, the foundational models, the ability to specialize and create new models is increasing very, very fast. And the tools to create new models are better than ever. Okay, so there's just models everywhere. But what people actually use is intelligent applications, right? So if you don't take a cool machine learning model and put it into an application, all that it is just a cool demo. Okay, so what you want is to be able to create intelligent applications with these models. And by the way, you're gonna see a really cool intelligent application right after this with Chris presenting RunwayML. And to do that, you need to be able to integrate models into intelligent applications. And but that's not easy. Okay, so there's a long rocky road there. First, there is quite a bit of engineering effort required to get a model and get it ready to be part of an application. And that engineering effort is accessible to few, because it involves getting people that understand machine learning, software engineering, system software, and even computer architecture in some cases. Okay? So the infrastructure that's needed is highly tied to the system software infrastructure. So this feels like the mainframe industry in the 70s, it had really tight coupling between hardware and software. Today, like every single hardware provider that you want to run your machine learning model on has its own software stack for machine learning. Okay, so they're starting to get a little bit better, but still by and large, highly infrastructure dependent. And then finally, when you actually succeed in building an intelligent application, you typically have really high operational costs. Okay, so you have a sticker shock with your cloud bill, seeing how much it costs to run your application at scale. Okay? So now here's one of our customers. So this is an OctoML customer story. So they have a cross-functional team that deploys intelligent services with a bunch of models as part of an enterprise SaaS application that has on the order of hundreds of millions of users. Here's some of the things that they say. So they have to keep up the pace of model improvements and integrated application. That's a lot of extra work without the extra people. Look, this is a company with high AI maturity. And then they have to worry about costs as well, because they run this at massive scale. And interestingly, it's not just about the cost, but also the availability of hardware. So one of the things that you don't think about is that the cloud feels elastic, but the reality is that for you to be able to increase your allocation, you might have to negotiate with your cloud provider. If you go and tune your model for a V100, and all of a sudden you get really popular, which is what the thing that you want, and you need more V100s, there's a good chance you're not going to get it. So, and you have to live with the hardware that's available wherever you operate in. Okay, so these are some of the real constraints today in folks building integrating machine learning models into intelligent applications. Okay? So here's what we do for them. So OctoML offers a really clean path from model into an application. First, we offer agility. We automate the process of turning your model into the deployable thing that you need to put into your application. Okay, so we reduce from hundreds of hours to less than 10 minutes. I'm going to talk more about this in a second. We offer portability, the ability to run your model on the hardware that you have available and with the maximum performance you can possibly get if you had done it by hand on that hardware that's available. Okay? And then finally, that leads to cost savings because of two things. First, we make it run faster. And one of the great things about making something faster on the same hardware is that you use less energy. Okay, so, and you make it cheaper too because you use less machine time. And also cost savings comes from the ability to be able to move your workload around to whatever is cheaper. Okay? So let me talk about automation and agility now. So you don't need to read this list here, but it have things like model hardware exploration. You want to evaluate where your model fits in the pipeline in multiple ways. What are the testing that you need to do and so on. And that amounts to roughly, say, 315 hours. And with OctoML, we can automate this whole thing and get a really cool dashboard that shows how your model runs in all your different options. And by the way, each data point here is not a simulation. These are data points of your model running on different hardware that actually has been optimized, compiled, tested, packaged, and ready to be deployed if you want. This is not a simulation. Okay? And you can access this via a nice user interface, web interface, or a CLI, or an API in case you want to integrate this into your CI/CD flow. Okay? So now let's talk about portability and how that can lead to cost savings. So here's one work that we've done recently. There was a blog post about it on being able to move workloads between different hardware. And in this case, we moved a model running on Cascade Lake, on PyTorch, on GCP, to the newest shiny Graviton 3 on AWS. And it's fully automatic, no code required, but because we're able to get the model, get it ready to run on Graviton 3, optimize it to a significant extent, and run it there, we show savings anywhere from 2x to 3x. Okay, so that now gives you the ability to find the hardware that hits your SLA without compromising your application experience and reduce costs. Now, how does this all work? In case you're wondering where's the magic? Well, the magic is, not surprisingly, with more machine learning. Okay, so if you think about the space defined by all the types of engines that you can use to run your model, to all the kind of libraries that different library options in a given hardware or different hardware targets, and then fun things like how do you do thread pinning on specific CPUs and all the things that might not mean anything to you, but I know means a lot to I'm pretty sure it means a lot to your infrastructure engineers and folks that are actually making this work. This space is very, very large, so you need to navigate this in a way that is efficient and it's viable. So that's where we use more machine learning. We build models that knows how to navigate this very large space of options among engines, hardware targets, different configurations, and we know how to pick the right ones without you waiting too long or having to use excessive compute costs. Okay? And then what you get as the output is an easy deployable package that is high performance, it's portable across different hardware, and it's ready to be deployed. Okay? We support all the three major clouds, GCP, AWS, and Azure, and support all of the major, all the key machine learning model frameworks and formats that you likely use. And one of the engines here that we have is TVM. This comes from the Apache Tensor Virtual Machine project that we started at the University of Washington a while ago that became Apache TVM, and that was the origins of the company. And this is a universal engine that can turn your model into highly optimized binaries to different hardware targets, that also uses machine learning to generate very efficient code. Okay? So that's how OctoML turns your model into the best code possible without any manual engineering. So now, a little bit more on cost savings. This is another screenshot of our interface. So here's a model running on different hardware targets. Again, every single point here is actually a model ready to be deployed. Shows the different trade-offs, the different hardware targets, and what it will cost to run per 10 million inferences. And it allows you to do things like this. You can say deploy these two models in Kubernetes, ensuring a latency lower than 20 milliseconds, which might matter for interactive applications. And then after that, you want to minimize costs across AWS and Azure. So you can choose what hardware should run for you. Okay, think of it as fully like a self-driving ML deployment infrastructure that's fully automated that reduces your cost. And that's it. So OctoML delivers agility, portability, and cost savings. So it gets your model to market faster. It lowers your cloud costs and gives you hardware independence, and that gives you not only the ability to save more money in deploying your model, but also gives you business advantages and not being dependent on any specific infrastructure. Okay, if you want to learn more, just come talk to me or any other OctoML person here. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Chris, I'm the co-founder and the CEO of Runway. Very excited to be here and honored to be in the list again. Here to tell you a bit more about Runway, what we've been building and working on for the last 4 years. We are, the best way of thinking about Runway is to think about it as a full-stack AI research company. We deploy and work on multimodal systems for video and image generation. So if you heard about Stable Diffusion or image generation techniques using diffusion models, that's some of the work we've been kind of like pioneering and collaborating with other partners. We also build infrastructure on top of those models. And most importantly, we deploy and build applications that customers, creatives, filmmakers, artists, designers, and pretty much anyone in the world can use in a web browser. We're a small team. We're just 33 people that do all the work from the research side of things, the infrastructure side of things, and the application side of things. Now, our customers and our users really don't care about AI. They really care about content and storytelling, and that's what we offer them. Runway is a platform for storytelling. And we help companies like CBS, like Meta, like Assembly, like Google, like Publicis, just make better content faster and at a fraction of the cost of what they're paying for today. I like showing stuff. I think it conveys things a little better. So here's a quick demo of some of the things that run in Runway and how we see the future of content being automated and augmented, not just by some of our platforms, but in general by generative AI.
This is a box, a magical box. This box can make any idea real.
So a few things are happening behind that video and the demo and the product. I truly believe language is going to become a more powerful interface for controlling and expressing and using some of the underlying techniques and systems that we're building. And so we're really investing a lot in large language models and the way you can interact with large language models for storytelling. And more kind of like broadly, why we build the tools that we build today is basically because we believe every company today is a media company. Every company is creating content and media more often than ever before. And the challenges arise with how you create that content and the speed at how you need to create that content. And so we're basically, again, helping those companies and those teams and those creators do better storytelling faster. And just so if you're new perhaps to content creation or to film production or to video editing or to image editing, editing stuff and creating videos is extremely expensive. Some companies and some production studios might pay up to $5,000 per finished video of editing. And the challenge and the reality is that most companies need to produce this multiple times a day. So Runway basically offers a better way of accessing and building those video content at a fraction of the cost. It's an entirely web-based, cloud-based system, which for me is a standard in content creation nowadays, specifically after Figma has proven that professional workflows can happen entirely in a web browser, and the web browser itself is a very powerful engine. And this is kind of like the actual kind of like use cases that we've seen so far from some of our customers. And the emphasis on speed more than anything else. Again, our customers don't care about AI. AI is just a tool. It's a tool, and the way you use the tool helps you do something like this, translate 5 hours of work into 5 minutes of work, which is really transformative. And it kind of like leapfrogs every single aspect of content creation you ever used before. The way we do this and the way our unique approach of Runway, and I guess I was mentioning this before, is that we focus on applied research, and we build everything from the ground up. We own and we build the models that we want to use. We modify them specifically for use cases of our customers. And we have a very unique team that knows how to build ML systems and deep learning systems and technologies that are usable for creatives and for the creator kind of like segments of our customers. And we've been doing this for the last 4 years. Before generative AI was a thing, we were building generative AI systems with early techniques. I'm really proud of the team and the speed at which we can ship stuff. We are able to, right now we're shipping mostly on a bi-week, every week we do either 1 or 2 releases. This week we did 2 releases. And we've only gotten to this point because we've been practicing for like 3.5, 4 years of how to translate research into production in very accessible and easy ways. The future that I'm really excited about, perhaps you all have seen the rise of generative media and generative content over the last couple of months, is basically the speed at which these things are and these systems are advancing. Just 4 years ago, this was the state of the art that we had in the product. And so I remember showing most of our customers at that time that the image on the left was basically the system they will be using for their professional lives moving on. And everyone, of course, laughed because they will never use that. 4 years after, we're here. This is what you can create just with a text prompt. And so really excited to see that this is not only advancing more fastly, it's basically advancing exponentially. And the challenges and the difference between the last 4 years, we'll start to see them in like years and then probably months. And I think that's already happening. Some of our customers, just to end up, include companies and different studios and production companies and design studios and also students. We're in a lot of universities and classrooms where new tools for creatives are being taught. And so really proud of being part of that cohort of new generation of creatives. That's me. I'm Chris. Thank you for having me here and honored to be in the list.